Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Jug of multi-platinum production team.
Arkatech Beatz.
Welcome to the music production and beat making live stream, man. Again, man, like I said, I'm Juggernaut, man. Shout out to my partner, Mike Trauma D. We are Arkatech Beatz, man, multi-platinum producers. Big Pun, Nas, Prodigy of Mobb Deep. Rest in peace. Check out that new Mobb Deep album out right now. Infinite. Jada Kiss the Game, Raekwon the Chef, RZA, Killer Mike, Side High the Prince, and so many others. Shorty Low. Man, you know, the list goes on and on and on. So if it's your first time here, man, make sure that you are like, commenting, subscribing, following, all that other good stuff. And just making sure, man, that you are checking us out at arkatechbeatz.com. Check us out there for any music production, any trying to learn the music business, etc. Right? We get into our music production tutorial bag tonight. We are working with some samples. Samples courtesy of splice.com. Make sure you're checking that out on the link is in the description. What I got going on now is I got a drum beat that I put inside my MPC-X, along with some samples that I'm gonna work with, and we're gonna cook up tonight. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Make sure you're checking us out at arkatechbeatz.com. And I got a bunch of samples in here that I've tuned up. It's about we're at a 4-bar loop. We're gonna try to do something a little dope tonight. You know what I'm saying? I want you to listen to some of the samples I got, and we're going to try to put them all together. You ready? What's up, boy? Swagger. Once you get that splice working, man. That's the piano sample that we got. I got a bunch. Like I said, I got a few samples in here. Try to get this thing going. We're gonna do another track. We're gonna lay the keys down first, and then we're gonna go from there. I'm gonna 16 level it because it's coming in a little hot in terms of the volume. Let's do the keys. 16 level. That 16 level changes the velocity. So that here being the lowest volume, going back to the highest volume. We're gonna go about midway. Let's lay that down real quick. Shout out to everybody in the live, man. Yo, Boxing J, what up, man? Shout out Jay Thompson, man. Let's go. Brooklyn in the building. Yo, make sure that we are sharing the live, man. Tap the screen, man. Share the live. Like the screen, like the live. It helps the algorithm. And we all need to help the algorithm, right? Alright. What's the 4-bar loop, right? So now we're going to go back in. We're going to copy this track right here. We're going to get this bass line in here, right? Tap that screen for the like button. Let's go. That's what's up, brother. Start getting that content in here, huh? We're gonna record this bass line in real quick. Rockosaurus, what up? A little extra electric piano. We're gonna 16 level that as well. And we're gonna add that in. Let's go. We're gonna bring it down in the mix a little bit. Shout out to everybody in the live, man. Tap the screen. We're gonna add some strings in. Let's get these strings in. Let's go. Most times I am going to normalize these. You know what I'm saying? Someone is asking in the chat if we normalize the samples. Yes. Typically, I'm going to normalize the sample if I feel like it could be a little bit louder. In this case, I feel like the loudness is there, so I don't really know. I don't really think that it's necessary on this particular track per se. But you can always This depends on what you're trying to accomplish with it. I'm gonna add a little reverb to this because I want the strings to kind of feel like it's carrying over through the loop. So we're gonna do a little bit of a trick to play with the airs. And sometimes we use effects to trick the listener, man. That's the whole thing with sample-based production. A little bit. All right. Now let's go back to the piano. We're going to add this into here. We're going to add this as a key fill. And this is like the ear candy, man. This is gonna bring this thing. It's gonna bring this thing full circle. Shout out to everybody in the lab. Y'all tapping that screen, man. Get this algorithm going. Let's go. Share the live. Like the live. We got some guitar elements. So we got the wall. And then we got the fall. So we're gonna add this is gonna be the guitar fall real quick. Let's add that in. Let's go. Go a little bit low on the volume. Shout out to everybody in the live. That little wall. Now this sound right here, Rockosaurus, we want to make sure that we normalize this sound. that a little bit louder. That piano sample. You do want your tracks to be under 0, bro. The MPC runs hot. If you're not really careful, especially the way that I choose my sounds, you're gonna see everything going into the red. What I have started to do recently is I have started to add something onto the master output. If you notice, I got an effect here in the master channel. It has a little bit of a limiter and a channel strip, so it's kind of helping us to keep us under the 0 threshold. Add a little low end to this. So with the way that these mix engineers tell us, they want us to get this thing a little bit under zero, right? We don't want it to go over zero because you have to give us a little bit of room for mastering, right? So sometimes what we're looking for is maybe anywhere between -2 or -4 dB, so that you're not peaking out, and then it gives us room for them to boost the volume in mastering. Now, if you're going to bypass mastering, then of course you still want to give yourself a little bit of headroom. You just don't want your waves to like be absolutely like loaded in your joints, and you'll be able to see it like once you have your wave and you see your joint just totally filling up the whole thing. You know that it's too loud. You know what I mean? But there's a science to this thing, man. Meaning like there's a balance between getting it loud enough and then also getting it where you want it to sound, right? Because things start to sound different at different volumes. So, you kind of got to play with it. Like, I don't want to tell people to say, hey, always keep it within this threshold and this within this number. Remember, when you're dealing with samples have different fidelities, right? So, what might work for one sample may not work for the next one. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're going to have artifacts. Sometimes you're going to have extra air. Sometimes you're going to have extra, crackles and pops, depending on where you're sampling from. Yeah, man. Most. It depends. It depends on who it is. You know what I'm saying, genius? You know what I'm saying? So I can't co-sign it if I don't know who it is. That there's a handful of guys out here that are good with their mixing. You just gotta kind of understand what it is. It's not a thing that I like to try to. It's not a one size fits all, especially when you're dealing with samples. You know what I'm saying? Guys are gonna tell you that it is, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like you'll see different situations where you'll see like a Kanye asking Timberland to help him on this and help him on that because sometimes he just can't get certain sounds to hit loud enough and stuff like that. It's definitely something that you have to play with and compare your favorite records to kind of get you where you want to be. Shout out to everybody in the live. Vito, what up, man? Genius coming soon, man. Coming soon, man. Coming soon. If you're here in this window here and you click on here and you have see how you have your outputs. What I like to do here is I like to add my effects, and what I'm going here is I'm going into factory, and if you go scroll down, we're going into mix and master, right? And you have different ones here. You got master coloring, master bus, punisher, limiting, punchy master. The one that I like, or what you're hearing right now, is you're hearing master bus, right? And in here you're going to be able to tweak, your channel strip, right? So here, of course, it's like you can get a little bit more output on this, right? And then also, we also got a limiter, right? And this is on our master track. just helping us to stay at 0. So we're not going over. Now it's up to you now to look at your individual sounds and make sure that they're not going too loud. It's up to you to listen to make sure that it's not overloading, right? Because sometimes you might not see it overloading, but it might be audible overload. You might hear distortion in your headphones. So some stuff you have to listen out for. You know, like we like to look at the gauges, but that's not always the telltale sign, right? Remember, this is still hardware, so it still has a little bit of an analog feel, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it's outputting. So also, this is outputting analog right now into my Scarlett. So it's not plugged in to the computer. You know, when we do software, then it's like, you know, hardware, you know, straight to software, because then we're using the USB to go straight to the MPC software. And when you do it that way, everything tends to be cleaner. So right now I'm running it analog, so you know there's still like room and stuff to play with. Remorseful, thanks for your gift. Marcus, what up? Smoke, what up? So let's get these other elements in. When you mixing stuff from when you connect the MPC going into the MPC software, in my opinion, that's going to give you the most accurate output. You know what I'm saying? Because now we're going straight from here straight to the computer, and then you're being able to kind of hear everything for as clean as it can be. So, whenever you can, listen to your stuff in the software. I think that's a plus. We don't have a name for it yet. We just cooked it up the last 30 minutes. It's almost ready, bro. Listen, that's why I've been missing nights, man. I've been missing nights. I've been trying to get this thing together, man. Shout out to the homie J. Pierre, man. Superfly. I like that. Vito, I'm a, what you call it, man? I'm a we have been like really diligently behind the scenes. Honestly, I've been just trying to line up some more folks that's gonna be able to be in that community. Like for real, like that's really what I'm trying to really lean on. I want to make sure that I can bring in a few engineers. I want to make sure I can bring in some other producers as well, so that, you know, people can give us that feedback. You know what I'm saying? So when I do have a live, those lives now will be relegated in there, and then I'll be like, yo, on this day we're gonna have such and such. On this day we're gonna have such and such. You know what I'm saying? and then we have that live situation where we gonna be answering questions and you know that sort of thing. So I want to try to get into that, as well as having stuff that we cooking up, as well as maybe once a month even bringing the lawyer, you know what I'm saying, so that you can get information straight from the attorney's mouth. Pause. You know what I mean? Like, it's really trying to make sure that I have an ecosystem that's really, really good for producers, man. So, you gotta just bear with me on it. I'm a Virgo. I got perfectionist tendencies, man. So sometimes I might be overthinking it. I might just need to launch it and let it go. You know what I mean? And then just fix it and build it from there. Yeah, so we're just trying to. I want to make sure that the community is going to be real tight. Um, I want to make sure that guys are understanding how to collect their money. Like, that's the main thing. Is not just production wise, but business wise. Making sure guys know how to set up their websites. Make sure guys know how to connect their ad stuff to their Facebook, and your pixels to your Shopify, and your merch to your print on demand. Like, there's so many different aspects of it. And then remember, we still got to get into the AI portion of it, right? Because the AI portion of it is where it gets real crazy. So then I gotta show y'all the different AI tools, Midjourney, Higgsfield, you know what I'm saying, Suno, Udio, like all of these different places, so that we can kind of understand, like, how do we put all of this stuff together? You know what I'm saying? How do we make it all work? You know what I mean? So. I appreciate you, man. Like, I appreciate every single one of y'all that check with me night after night. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the reason why, I show up, is because I know that I got people who are looking for me, and that's why I'm showing up. Like, I know people are looking for me. People are looking for, they really want this information. They really want to see how we cooking it up. They want to see how we can get better. So, yeah, listen, man, that AI, man, I can't explain it, man. Aiden Ray, what up, man? Richie Mays, what up, man? I can't express it more. Like, look, the way that this thing is going so fast. It's going so fast in terms of AI. Like, man, I hope people are really understanding what's happening with it. And then also, listen, if you're not, you have to make sure that you're a part of your AI process. And people may say, well, what do you mean when they say that? Meaning, like, you just can't leave it all up to the AI. You have to basically put some of your creative juice, pause, alongside with this thing, right? Because the main thing is that you want to make sure that you are using the AI to create something that's original and that's dope. You understand what I'm saying? Because we're trying to make sure that we're trying to get some stuff that's going to be unique to what you're doing. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you also want to make sure that you put enough input into it, because this stuff is copyright funny, right? So if you're not adding enough to it, enough human elements to it, then it becomes a situation where you can't copyright this thing, right? So you can't protect the music that you're gonna put out. So you have to make sure that you're paying attention to what you're doing, making sure that you're putting enough into it so that you can basically have something that you'll be able to control fully, right? Because you know what these guys like to do. These guys like to usurp control in the fine print, so you have to make sure that we're watching out for that. Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to Richie Mays. He said he made the plunge and bought an MPC-X. Shout out to him. I know right now those prices got to be ridiculous. Killer price, bro. I mean, everybody that be getting the NPCs, when you come home with the NPCs and you smiling, tell me what y'all wives say when y'all come in with the box that y'all spent $2,000 on. Just tell me what your wife say to y'all when y'all brought y'all NPCs. They don't understand, man. Like, they don't understand, man. They don't understand. I mean, a man and his toys. People, they don't understand. Like, they just don't understand. And they like, how can you sit there for hours? Because I can sit here for hours. 14, 12, 14, 16 hours at a time. Richie says his looks at him and say, "Again, you bought another piece of equipment again." And if you're of a certain age, you come from that era where equipment you wasn't buying no equipment that was less than $3,000. The single life. If you remember when you first started recording digitally, and you had to buy DA88, so you had to buy an ADAT or something like that, and each unit cost you $3,000, $3,500, and you had to get 3 of them just to get 24 tracks. And we're not even gonna talk about buying a mixing board. A lot of producers have 4 monitors, and the reason why a lot of producers have different monitors. So I have different monitors, and then I have a Mackie thing that we use to switch signals between monitors. And a lot of times, what you're trying to do is you're trying to see how your mixes sound on different speakers, right? I have these Mackie speakers. These are a lot older, and the Mackie speakers used to be kind of dope because they used to have this emulator where it would emulate tannoys, and then it would emulate tannoys, and it would emulate the Yamahas and everything. So you could just kind of flip the switch in the back, and you can emulate all of these speakers when you were mixing. And what it kind of helped us to do, man, is it helped us to kind of, once you start to understand your equipment and you start to understand like how you're producing, that's the whole thing about doing this thing over and over and over and over again. Because now you start to understand, okay, I have my go-to kits or my go-to kicks and snares and stuff like that. You be like, all right, I know where this is gonna sit in certain mixes. You know what I mean? And what this starts to do is it starts to save you time. Because ain't nothing worse than having to go, you're trying to mix and then you go do a car test, go back, mixing, and this kind of depends on how dedicated you are to that process. Over the years, especially when it comes to rap music, man, you don't gotta do too much. So, I used to go to a cat. Shout out to this cat. His name Dula. He used to do a lot of stuff for like Killer Mike and Trouble and stuff like that in ATL. And he used to have a bunch of joints in his studio. Like, you got the of course your Yamahas and stuff like that. Some of the stuff is go to, you know what I mean? and then you got little things that he will listen to and mix and master to. And it's just to make sure that you can see how you mix sounds on different systems. Because each speakers have different types of coloring, right? So if you're using like the K Rocks, I got the K Rocks behind me. Those like those are like for trap, you know what I mean? And they color the low end, whereas the Yamahas they don't do that. The Yamahas give us probably the most accurate signal across, right? Because you kind of want it to sound good here, then I want it to sound good when I drive the German car, then I want it to sound good when I drive the Korean car, then I want to, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when you're dealing with all these different systems, you want to just make sure that it all sounds good. And then once you kind of get like a baseline, like, all right, it sounds good pretty much everywhere. It sounds good on your phone, etc. Even though it's a poor place to test it, but people are consuming on their phones, so you gotta make sure that it's playing good across platforms. Yes, it is possible to have four monitors working on one interface. Sometimes you can just some interfaces have dual outputs, right? So that you can have multiple outputs at one time. It just depends. Some guys are old school at this by splitters, but I think that degrades the signal. I kind of like that. I kind of like how this is going without the keys. So you ran out of desk space. Yeah, this desk here is custom. We had to I have a family member that was kind of decent with the woodwork, so this desk is actually, whew, it's actually 4 by 8. So it's it's an 8 foot desk. It's an 8 foot desk, 8 by 4 and 4 feet wide, 4 feet deep. So that's why I could fit two sets of monitors on here, and then it has a level up. You know what I'm saying? So I got a level up here, and then so that's the only reason why I could hold everything here, because we and this room is a little bit bigger than it shows um on the screen. So like this room is about maybe, what's that, about 10 feet across, 10 feet up. Um and then if we go from front to back, because I still have a station behind me and I still have another station behind me again, and then we have like a seating area and all of that in the back behind me. So, you know, it's a lot of space in here to do a lot of things. We call this a little bit of the part, one part of the man cave. 3 sets of monitors. And I got a story to tell, right? I was on a call with my folks who that help these producers get their money. And they said they had a case study where there was a guy who had, you know, had produced maybe like 4 or 5 songs that did over 100 million streams apiece, and they were trying to get in contact with him to to see if he had somebody to help him collect his master recording royalties. And they said, you know, they were reaching out to homie, couldn't really get him on the line, and they was having a hard time, you know, just having a hard time getting on the line, getting on a call with him, because, you know, they were trying to explain that a lot of producers don't realize that if you have a record that does a significant amount of streams, there's going to be money for you on the other side, right? So for the most part, most producers have the music publishing thing kind of taken care of. And if you notice, when you go to most of these DSPs, they're offering those extra services, right? Where they say, "Hey, we'll collect your publishing, we'll collect your your um your mechanicals, etc." And some of those things are being built in for fees, right? Which is great, right? Because that's your publishing side being taken care of. But then you still have the other side that has to come from the label, right? Now, for those who have released their own music, you kind of understand what I'm talking about. Because if you release your own music, and this is another reason why I'm a huge, huge proponent for guys releasing their own albums. You have to release your own albums because you have to understand the mechanics of how you earn money, right? And once you kind of set yourself up to where you release your own album as your own label as an artist, then you kind of get to see how the entire pie is divided. You're not going to understand how the pie is divided until you've actually become the label or you actually become the artist and you release your own project. Now, it doesn't have to do a whole bunch of streams and so forth and so on, but you do need to understand, like, okay, I released this thing let's say I released this thing in November. 6 months have passed. All right, let me see what I got. You know, I made X amount of dollars from ASCAP. I made X amount of dollars from the MLC. I made X amount of dollars from the Sound Exchange. Then I made X amount of dollars from the distributor, right? Whether that be DistroKid, United Master, TuneCore, or whatever. And then you start to see, okay, this is how the pie is divided in the music business. And then you start to understand, like, okay, this is how this pie gets cut up. So when you're a producer, be like, okay, people say, hey, I want to give you 3% of the master, right? Which is an antiquated system, but don't really go by that, but that's how it used to be. Then you start to understand what the master royalty looks like, and then you start to understand, well, okay, if I'm supposed to get a percentage of this, then you'll start to understand how that pie is divided. So it's a very, very, very important exercise to release something. And then also it helps to build your social footprint, right? It gives you a Spotify artist page and, you know, an Apple artist page and these type of things. And these things help to, you know, create more traction for yourself, more visibility for your music. Shout out Richie Mays, man. Thanks for the gift, brother. Shout out to my man JP. JP is one of my folks from the Bronx. We actually moved out to Atlanta at the same time. Shout out to him. I was coming back and forth to Atlanta in 07. Me and Mike was coming out here and we used to just randomly pick people to see who we can link up with. Shout out to Lil Scrappy, right? Because let me tell you the story about how that worked is that, you know, when we first started coming out here in 07, Scrappy was still he was transitioning from Little John to G Unit, and he was one of the first artists from the South that we were able to link up with. He used to record out of the studio on 14th Street called S Line. For those who know, for those who are in Atlanta know, they know. They used to have this strip of studios over there on 14th Street, in downtown Atlanta, not too far from like the Antico, and where the current I can't remember the name of the damn studio. It'll come to me, but the most prominent studio in Atlanta. Whew, I can't believe I can't remember that. Anyhow, that's that old age. So anyhow, we were able to link with him in them days, and we were able to kind of get some records, just work some records with him as a artist. And again, he was just trying to find his way. He had just kind of left the Little John stable and was trying to, rock it with 50 Cent. So, shout out to him. And then, so around 07, we was doing that. And then around 08, that's when we started linking up with like Shorty Low, etc. And, that's when I decided to move out here. And then never look back, you know what I mean? Shout out Richie Mays, man. So for this beat, we call this beat Superfly. Patchwork, thank you. Patchwork. yo, Rich, I could not remember that for the life of me, dog. I couldn't remember the name of it, but I couldn't remember Patchwork. That is the weirdest thing. I just drew a blank. And the funny thing about Patchwork is that Patchwork has been out this thing forever. Like when I was coming out here in '98 with Raekwon, we were going to Patchwork. And that's the old Patchwork. You would be in there with you see Jagged Edge or something like that. You know what I mean? Yo, chat. Everybody knows the Mobb Deep album dropped last week. What's your now that you had about a week to sit on it, what's your take on the new Mobb Deep album? What you like, what you don't like? Yo, rest in peace to Prodigy, man. You can get that vinyl for Mobb, man. You can buy that on massappealrecords.com, massappeal.com. All that stuff is there. Shout out to Sean C and them guys, man. The guys did a great job in putting this album together and getting this rollout together. And I was talking to Mike about, we were just talking about Prodigy, man, and the impact on us for Mobb Deep, man. Like the impact for me in Mobb Deep is just I can't express it. I can't verbally express it because like again, me and these guys are similar in age, but these guys were already doing a thing prior to us getting on, and just being able to be one of those producers who literally got Nas and Prodigy on the same record, right? It's like the only producers to have Nas and Prodigy on the same record is Havoc, us, and Alchemist. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a weird company to be in. You know what I'm saying? Also having the pleasure of being able to work with a big pun. You know what I'm saying? Prodigy. Like just think about that. Like Big Pun, Prodigy, Raekwon, Jadakiss, Nas, RZA, and then go to the South and say, okay, I got Shorty Low on this. I got Killer Mike on that. You know what I mean? Freddie Gibbs on this. It's a blessing, man, to really be here and to have done the things that we've done. I was gonna add some other stuff in here, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I ain't gonna even hold you. I'm gonna leave this alone. Richie, you're right. Yo, Cody, Ride or Die will be available for streaming on the 31st. About to get that pre-save link out come tomorrow. Start that pre-save, man. And I want y'all to watch this. I want y'all to watch this experiment, man, because this is a social experiment as well. You know what I'm saying? It's a social experiment to see how people are gonna really respond to this music, and just kind of just really trying to get people to understand this too, right? As producers, we don't always get the chance to demonstrate how our music should be consumed. With a filmmaker can go out here and they can make indie films, or they can make short films, so that you can kind of get an idea of what they can do. You know what I'm saying? And for producers, we don't really have that, right? We have stuff where you can listen to the beats, but you don't have stuff where you can like hear the songs. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to be able to hear the songs that that we are actually being able to make. So this is where the AI gap fills that in. Now there's no excuse for you not to have songs. If you want to see how good your beats are, you got ways to put vocals on them. You know what I'm saying? And you can try all genres if you want, just to kind of see what's gonna fit. You know what I'm saying? So, what a time to be alive, man. True Life, thank you for your gifts. Nick, what up? Keons, what up, man? Welcome to the live stream, man. Music production live streams. Thanks everybody that's joining the live. Yeah, man, that's super fly, man. Shout out to JPL on the name on that boy swagger. That's what we doing right now. We doing that real quick. We are doing that real quick now, man. Like I said, man, we got what you call it at the end of the month. We got your girl Cody at the end of the month, man. So if you're not uh if you're not ready for that, please get ready for that. Ride or die end of the month, man. You know, we're trying to show the world something different, man. First of all, we want music to sound good again. Two, you know, we're trying to show folks what can be done with the new tools. Like that's very important to us to really show guys what you could be doing, and that you don't really gotta wait for nobody. You don't really gotta follow any of these traditional rules. You can kind of make your own rules. You know, let the people decide. You know what I mean? Let the people decide what they want to do with your music, how they want to consume it. Before I get out of here, you know I gotta play my girl Cody on the game.
Arkatech Beatz.
You know I'm your ride or die. I'll be there every night. You know I'm your ride or die. You know I'm your ride or die. I'll be there every night. You know I'm your ride or die. Don't make me put you in a box and tie a ribbon around it. When you say I don't love you, how can you say that? Do you think that you know me well? If you know me, you know that that's not true. I want you to know, you know I'm your ride or die. I'll be there every night. You know I'm your ride or die. You know I'm your ride or die. I'll be there every night. You know I'm your ride or die. Don't let the distance break us down. We're stronger when we're united. Even when the night gets cold, I'll never leave you. Do you think I could doubt us? No. If you know me, you know my love is true. I want you to know.
Let's go, Cody.
You know I'm your ride or die. I'll be there every night. You know I'm your ride or die. You know I'm your ride or die. I'll be there every night. You know I'm your ride or die.
Arkatech Beatz. Arkatech Beatz.
What do you do when the love's that good? Every single inch is working like it should. What's a girl to do when a man's that fine? Feeling like a diamond, shining all the time. When he says he wants me, baby, don't you know? It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you.
Come on.
Baby, it drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you. Baby,
Yeah, this one of them ones.
insane and I can't stop thinking about you. It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you. Baby, what do you do when the love's that good? Working like it should. What's a girl to do when a man's that fine? Shining all the time. When he says he wants me, baby, don't you know?
I said, I don't know what he's doing over there, but I know what he's
Arkatech
doing over here.
Beatz.
What do you do
Come on,
when the love's that good?
let's go.
Every single inch is working
Damn.
like it should. What's a girl to do when a man's that fine? Feeling like a diamond, shining all the time. When he says he wants me, baby, don't you know? It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you, baby. It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you.
Let's go.
Baby, it drives me insane and I can't
Shout out to everybody in the live, man. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for liking and sharing the live.
What do you do when the love's that good? Working like it should. What's a girl to do when a man's that fine? Shining all the time. When he says he wants me, baby, don't you know? It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you, baby. It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you, baby. It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you, baby. It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you. No, it drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you, baby. It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you, baby. It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you, baby. It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you,
Arkatech Beatz.
Yo, like, yo, on that one, like how when you were growing up and before we used to go to the club, and the club, we used to actually dance in the club, and you used to have, a nice thing, and you used to be in the dark room, and, it says, sweat up your clothes, what I'm saying? Like, we got to get back to that, man. We got to get off this phone, man. We got to get back to the joints where the joints make you feel like you feel good, man. Create those good moments again. But we got to see, man. We got to see what these folks is on. We got to see if the algorithm really got people on NPC time. That's NPC, not, players. And that's it, man. I was thinking about Ashanti today too, Richie. I was like, damn, she overdue for one. But you know what happens when I realize with some folks are just they're not recording no real new music. They're just gonna stay doing their legacy stuff. Because what happens is they come from that old era where they're used to the big budgets, and if the big budgets ain't there, they ain't gonna really push the music like how they supposed to. So that's just the game. You know what I mean? But I'm about to get up out of here. Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all make sure y'all be safe out there. Tomorrow is Friday. I'm going to catch up with y'all. I'll make sure you have a good night now.
Arkatech Beatz.
what do you do?
Peace, y'all.
When the love's that good, every single inch is working like it should. What's a girl to do when a man's that fine? Feeling like a diamond, shining all the time. When he says he wants me, baby, don't you know? It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you.
You can't stop thinking about me.
It drives me insane and I can't stop thinking about you.
You can't stop thinking about me.
It drives me
Let's go.
insane and I can't stop thinking about you.
Let's go.
Baby,